Yes, yes. Get ready for the praise. Praise This is premiering tomorrow on Peacock.
I love it.
I love it already. That was just a trailer, and I'm already excited about seeing the film in its entirety. And one of the reasons why is the person who was our subject matter that kicked off our show today.
Good News Thursday.
The first hour of our show was dedicated to the man who's sitting right next to me. He doesn't even know this.
Wait a minute, what?
Yes.
What?
Yes. What? This is the man who produced the 2022 Academy Awards Oscar ceremony. Give him a big round of applause.
Facts.
2022 Emmy Award nomination as a producer, Outstanding Variety Special Live for the Oscars. I didn't even know this. Graduated magna cum laude of Florida A&M University, Bachelor of Science degree.
ESPN. He be on ESPN on the regular.
On a regular, okay. A film producer, and we started off our show today because I spoke about a gesture this man made yesterday after we got off air, and we were speaking with Sybil and Sharona, who have the Parents on Autism 2.0 podcast.
Yes.
And we had a powerful conversation, and I decided to extend the experience with them and take them to lunch at a place called Oceana. I know the management there, so they got us the special room. We had the glass surrounding us the whole nine. And they came all the way from D.C. and Baltimore to be with us, and I wanted to make it special. So they got to meet Andy Cohen at one point, and they were big fans of Andy Cohen, and he just naturally took pictures with them, and then I took them to eat, and we sat and talked about more of the experiences raising their children. And I was in the hallway having a conversation with someone. I was trying to connect with Mashonda for an event, this black-owned beverage liquor brand called Poppy's. And Mashonda, I was connecting them, and this brother walked by me, and we just started laughing. And I was like, Will? And it was Will Packer. Welcome, Will Packer, back to the show. And I said, Will, what are you doing? He said, I'm headed to the bathroom. I said, you got to meet these people.
Yep.
And Will Packer, this award-winning billion-dollar producer, critically acclaimed, over 10 number ones in the box office. Washed his hands first.
Absolutely.
Let me put that. Make sure I let you know that he didn't have no filthy hands. And came in, and I didn't know what you had to do, brother, but you took the time out to speak to those women, and you made their day.
Wow.
You know, and then you spoke about Holly P. Robinson and experiences you had with autism.
That's correct.
How do you stay grounded?
First of all, thank you, family, for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody. I'm always honored when I get a chance
to
step into the universe. And good for you, man, for taking time off air. That's what people don't see, right? They don't see that when you have a mission, you have an objective, you have something that is not like, something that everybody knows about and everybody wants to hear. It's not sexy. It's not big popular type of thing. When you're talking about autism or special needs, I have an amazing young niece. Her name is Miracle. And we call her Miracle because we're fortunate to have her here, but she has cerebral palsy. She's special needs, and my sister is an amazing woman who raises her, but it has opened my eyes to a world that I would not otherwise know.
Right.
And I'm like most people out there who don't have somebody in their family that have special needs. And so for you guys to bring on somebody to talk about that, right? This is, probably considered a little bit of a fringe issue for a lot of people. You brought them on, had them on the show, gave them the platform, and then Sway, you took time. They call it the Sway Room, by the way, HB. Just so you know, with all the glass and all. It's the Sway
So
Room.
it went from the chef's room to Sway's room.
It's a Sway Room. He was
got
very,
it.
very comfortable in that room. I felt like that's the only place. He made it seem
Sway.
like, no, I had people here. I took them in the special room. No, Sway, that's where you eat.
created a monster.
That's your room.
Will.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will.
But so I appreciate you giving me a chance to talk to those sisters and proud of them. And I would just say to anybody, when you hear about somebody doing something that you know is positive, whether or not it's like right at the top of your mind or something that affects you every day, take a moment and let's just listen and hear and just, give some grace to folks that may be going through something that we're not. That's the only thing.
I'll put Will Packer here, man. You know how we started the show today was...
Yo, tell me about this Good News Thursday, brother. I missed that. I was on my way in. Didn't get a chance to hear it.
So Good News you want to break it down, Heather, how we started Good News Thursday?
So Good News Thursday started during the pandemic, and it was just an opportunity where everyone near and far was just dealing with so much loss and uncertainty. And so we just started to ask folks to call up and share something positive. even through the pain. Just share something positive. And we found a way through the pain to give praise, thanks and praise to the Most High God. Thank you. And it turned into something that I don't think any one of us, nor the citizens, could ever imagine. You know, we started just hearing these amazing stories of triumph and test and will and gratitude. Will, just gratitude. And it's been going on now for 3 years.
Wow.
You know, and we even have folks now saying, I listen to y'all on Thursdays. Which we didn't want to lose anybody Monday, Tuesday, you know.
Yeah.
But they listen, and it's just been a beautiful thing. And before we kicked it off today, we were talking about opportunity and what happens with opportunity. You don't know when God gives you that seed and it's planted what his idea of the growth is going to be, you know. But with obedience and purpose and service and faith, something beautiful grew out of the opportunity you gave Sway. With Stomp the Yard. And I said to him, we always tease him about always playing Sway in his different film parts. But what I love about it now, he's
the best.
He's
at being
Sway. Who else is going to be
Sway? You do have to give him that.
Right. Comedians can't even nail his accent. Like, they can't do it. Only Sway can be Sway. But it also gave him the confidence to do more. And I'm always like pushing him, like, you should do more. But it started with that seed and obedience, I think, through you, because you can have an idea, but you have to follow through.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to be obedient even when it doesn't make sense to no one else in the room.
Right.
You follow through, and that's how we started on
Heather,
today.
you just said a word. You said a lot of words, and they were all amazing. You talked about obedience. You talked about gratitude. You talked about people who are tuning in on Thursdays. You're feeding people. Like, y'all are feeding people. I just want you to know that, right? Because sometimes when you're in the moment, it takes somebody from the outside to come in. Those people that are tuning in specifically for that need that. They are coming off of a tough Wednesday, a tough week, a tough month, a tough year, and they're tuning in to get fed and to hear something. And what's even more powerful, there are people that don't know they need it, that don't know maybe that you even do that. Let me tune in and see this way I'm talking about on the universe, and they hear something positive.
Yes.
And we're in a world right now where nothing positive is what is being pervaded and pervasive throughout our world. Positivity, I'm telling you, I work in media. Positivity doesn't sell. I have people that will pitch me stuff. Hey, what about it? And I'm like, it's not, I don't know who I can sell that to. It's not provocative enough, not edgy enough.
Really?
We need that so much, but you got to make a choice to do it. People like you guys that have this platform to do it is so important. So let me just give y'all that from the outside.
Thank you,
people
bro.
need that.
Yeah.
They need it right now more than ever, man. For
Man,
real.
positivity doesn't
that.
sell. That saddens me.
Think about it. Think about what big major movie, TV show right now that people are talking about that is everybody's into, that's uplifting, that after the end of an episode or a movie you feel really good about it, right?
Yeah.
What is that kind? Even some of them, there's nothing wrong with, like, The Last of Us or Succession or Power, BMF. I love all those shows.
Yeah.
But the stuff that we gravitate to typically is that edgy, provocative, negative, dark stuff. And what we don't realize is that we, as a culture, we get addicted to it, right? And as a filmmaker, you got to be darker than the last one, right? I can't just make a show that's dark because the last show was dark. I want people to tune in. I got to be even darker. And that's what happens. Wow. And so over time, we don't even realize that we're consuming content that's not feeding us. And that's what happens. That's the little dirty secret behind Hollywood.
Wow. Well, so how do you get over that addiction then?
Yeah.
As a producer, like, what has been your form of sobriety to find the balance?
I try. I listen, I operate under the same economic pressures as anybody else in my industry, right? The only reason I'm able to sit here and have the conversation I have is because my stuff is supported by a lot of people, makes a lot of money. That's what Hollywood responds to. Most important color is green, not black, white, red, brown. It's green. That's what they care about. So I am, what I try to do is make content that draws you in by something that's flashy, something that's provocative. You mentioned Stomp the Yard.
Yes.
True story with Stomp the Yard. Nobody would make that movie. I was trying to tell a story about HBCUs and black fraternities and sororities. That's my world. It's where I'm from. Very proud of it. Shout out to FAMU, the Florida A&M University. Got to slide that in. Alpha Phi Alpha, sir. The first and the best, sir.
Okay.
Let's get that correctly, Mr.
Okay, my bad. My sister's an AKA. So.
All right, that's my soror. All love.
Okay, all right.
And so in Hollywood said, we don't know about HBCUs. We don't know what that is. We don't know what black fraternities and sororities are, but they were into dance movies.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I got it. I got a cool dance movie for y'all. And that's how I sold that movie to Hollywood. And once I got people in, they came in for the dance, but then they stayed and learned something about black colleges.
Yes.
And about black frat. I still have people that would come to me and say, you know what, my kid saw Stomp the Yard and said, I want to go to Truth University. And they say, well, it's fictional, but at least they wanted to go to college. And then they found out about black colleges from that movie. So that's what you kind of have to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally what I did with my movie Praise This. My goal wasn't to go out and make a movie for people that already go to church, that know all the Bible verses. Nothing wrong with that. I grew up in the church. I love that. I wanted to make a movie for people that don't have that relationship and don't have that connection. The movie's about Chloe Bailey, plays an amazing young singer.
So shout out to Chloe Bailey.
Shout out to Chloe. Working hard,
Debut album, The
going
Drops.
hard. Chloe got 79 projects right now, and she's pushing them all. You know what's going to separate her is her work ethic. She works very, very hard. And in this movie, she plays a young woman, which is so, I think, relevant to so many young people today. They don't have a relationship with God. This character doesn't want one. She's lost her mother. She's been through some stuff. And she's like, I don't care. I don't have faith. I don't have spirituality. It's never done anything for me. I'm not interested in that. And I think a lot of kids can relate to that. And the movie, while being about the praise team world and the music is banging, I mean, I got mashups with B and Beyonce, Cardi B, Drake with gospel lyrics. Like, I'm going hard with the music.
Drake with gospel lyrics?
Bro, can you imagine that?
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm telling you. You got to see this
That's
joint.
the thing. Yes.
I got Meg Thee Stallion and gospel mashed up in this movie. It goes
Come on.
hard.
Oh, I love it, man.
That's dope.
But I wanted to get you in, right? And it's good, and the music is really good, and it's funny, right? Drewski's in there, does his thing.
Wait,
You
can
know
we
how
talk
funny
about
he is.
Drewski for a second, though?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, this
All
is,
right.
to me, one of the funniest people ever on social media, but
Yes.
one of the smartest, because we see him doing things with big corporations now.
That's right,
And
brand deals.
And it seemed like he's one of those people who was autonomous initially. He did the writing, the comedy, the posting, the whole nine. What was that? What stood out about him to you?
Yo, you know what? Number one, he's about his business,
Yeah.
right? He takes it serious because there are a lot of folks out there, and their success on a social media platform doesn't necessarily translate.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody that can go viral on TikTok doesn't mean that they should be in a movie. And so my job is to be very discerning about that. And that means I got to a lot of those types of folks know, like, this is not the platform for you.
Yeah.
Drewski, though, he has a skill set that is transferable.
Okay.
He knows how to connect with his audiences, but he also is somebody that takes his job very seriously,
Yeah.
right? So you see the silly stuff, but behind the scenes, this boy is working.
He working.
Oh, man. I'm talking
Okay.
about showing up on time, ready, knows his lines, takes direction very well. So I like working with people like that.
Okay.
I've worked with people that have done 50 movies and got Oscars and all that, and I love that. But I also like working with young people that are willing to learn and be molded. And that's what I have. I have a great young cast. You talk about the Chloes, Drewskis. How about Quavo?
Yeah.
Quavo's in this joint.
Yeah.
Quavo takes it very seriously, too. He does his thing. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised. Quavo does not drop the ball, brother.
He does it?
He goes and does what he is asked to do.
Let's go.
So anyway, I think what I was just trying to say was just that in the movie, through her connection with this team, and the team is like real kids. It ain't just a movie that's like, oh, let's do this corny movie and falsify. Like, Drewski's on the praise team at the church. He also is selling weed on the side. I'm just gonna tell you. He's that character, right?
He's that guy.
The main pastor is a guy who's got neck tattoos because
Okay.
he came up in the streets and then found his way. So we
Yeah.
got real people in there. But what it's about ultimately is reconnecting with your faith, with your spirituality, and understanding that there's no gatekeeper for that. There's no church or person, pastor that can keep you from your faith, your spirituality. You have that. It is in you.
It's in
So
you.
whatever higher power you believe in, reconnecting to that faith is something that we need. It ties right back into what you were saying, Heather, at the beginning of this with the Good News Thursdays. We all need that. And that's what I was trying to do with this film.
Praise this.
Yeah.
Premiere tomorrow on Peacock DB.
Will, I want to go back to where you were talking about the type of content that you're into,
brother.
into producing, because most scripted stuff, it follows the 3-act structure, right? There has to be a beginning, middle, and end.
That's
a lot
correct.
of times it falls into something sad that they have to overcome, some sort of internal battle the character has to fight over, whatever.
That's right.
But
That's
there
right.
are pieces like Pulp Fiction that don't follow that narrative.
Yeah, non-traditional structure.
Right.
Yep.
So what is it with you that if somebody brings something to you, a project, and it may not fit, like what do you feel like was the riskiest project that didn't fall in what the formula for success that you have, that you were like, I'm going to take a chance, but if it doesn't work, then maybe I know why because I saw this in the beginning. So
that's a good question. And I am into things that break that traditional narrative format and that traditional narrative structure, which most things follow. I have not yet done anything which is wildly a detour from that kind of traditional 3-act structure, some version of it. The risk that I took was when I started making my movies, Hollywood telling me we don't know who's going to come see that, right? So now we are in a moment where you do have a lot of projects out there, a lot being relative, that have got black folks, brown folks in front of the screen, right? But remember, when I started off making my early joints, even before Stomp the Yard with like
Well, you
Twa,
want Twa?
oh
Okay,
yeah,
I still love Twa, man.
Come on.
That was my joint.
You're telling on yourself, brother. All right?
He got the DVD. The
You
Steelbook.
made the movie. I mean, we're telling on ourselves.
Happy early Good Friday to those who celebrate. No, but I think that for me, the risk was actually, it doesn't sound that risky now, putting black folks in positions where we had not seen them. Usually you saw black characters as like, the person who can do no wrong, right? The housekeeper, the nanny that is always right and has the right thing to say, or the straight up gangster that's just gonna kill everybody. We were never in between. We were never well-rounded people or the best friend, right? And so even when I made Girls Trip, I had a lot of people that said, I don't know that black women want to see themselves behaving badly. Literally what I heard.
Wow.
And I said, as long as you're authentic about it, right? You don't have them acting crazy just for the sake of acting crazy, but you have them acting the way they really do. They would love to see themselves on screen. And they would love to be well-rounded characters that see themselves on screen. So that's when I have had to push against kind of the Hollywood system and expectation, it has been in me trying to make sure that I'm showing depth and breadth within my characters and making sure I'm showing something that Hollywood has not historically done or done very well.
Will Packer is here. We're talking about the movie Praise This, premiering tomorrow on Peacock. I keep saying this. There was a story that I think Tracy G talked about, I want to say yesterday, about Leonardo DiCaprio being in court, having to testify because Praz is from the Fugees, is being linked to a laundering and a bribery scheme from an investor who invested in the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes.
And Leonardo didn't have any idea that he had these things on his record, or that he thought it was a great investor, so he's giving all the money back, everything he made. I don't think we understand how movies are made. How does investments happen with movies, and how often does that happen? How do you vet the people who invest in the movies?
No, that's a good question. And a lot of times they aren't vetted well enough, obviously. Hollywood is such a sexy industry. Everybody wants to get in it. And I don't just mean like, the people from around your block. I mean around the world. You have people trying to get into the industry in a variety of ways. And it is also a place where you can make a lot of money. When you have something that's sexy and high profile and a lot of money is involved, you are always going to attract shady people. That's the reality.
Okay.
Now, some movies are made through traditional Hollywood studios. For instance, Praise This was funded by Universal Pictures. They're a big media company. They're owned by Comcast. They're publicly traded. So all their books, everything in order. However, there are a lot of films, Wolf of Wall Street being one, where some or all of the financing comes from an outside financier. All the movies are not financed by Disney or Paramount or Sony. A lot of times you have people who can become major investors, and a lot of times when you're trying to get a movie made, somebody is showing up with the equivalent of a bag of cash going, I got you. I can support you in this, right? And when you coming up as a filmmaker, and I'm not immune to this,
Okay.
right? When I was first starting off, I was an independent filmmaker, right? Heather B, you had some cash for me to make twice. I was taking it. I wasn't
Brown
necessarily
paper
asking,
bagging it.
But it could have been anybody
wasn't asking
from a
where it came
legitimate.
from.
You didn't ask where it would come from.
Because I needed it and I was trying to get my movie
work
made.
done.
And
Okay.
so even at the highest levels, right? So way before Leo gets involved, somebody's having a conversation with a quote unquote financier, right? It could be a foreign financier, domestic, it does not matter. They're coming in, their books are not always right. Sometimes they are the money is gotten through, gray areas, immoral or ill-gotten means, right? Especially, unfortunately, when you're talking about a lot of foreign investors, and there's a lot of foreign investment in our movies. And so this is not something that is unique just to that. And I'm not saying all Hollywood movies have got shady money in them, but I'm saying it happens more than you think because oftentimes you're trying to raise money for a film and vetting where the money came from is not the top priority. The top priority is how do I get it? Because it's so hard to get these things financed.
It makes so much sense because the same thing happens in the music industry. Like,
Good point. Yeah.
how did your record get made?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, how did this quote unquote demo get made? You
Even
know,
your record
And
label.
you don't have a deal yet. Who put you in the studio? And then you start doing the back trail. I'm signed to a production company. Well, My Man Productions ain't a real production company,
Yeah.
but the bag is coming from the street. So
And it's being laundered
It's the
from
same-
street. Yeah.
And people think that's just like on some street shit. That's
Nah.
listen. I'm telling you,
It's
Hollywood, it's everywhere.
it's everywhere.
business.
DiCaprio was in court.
Yeah.
So
You're
it definitely
absolutely
ain't
right.
real.
So obviously, right?
Yeah.
You're right.
So-
You're
wow.
right.
Will Packer is here. You mentioned Girls Trip. What's the status of the next movie?
Yo, we actually are closer than we've ever been.
Okay.
Right? Because it's I'm happy about it. I'm excited.
man.
Wow.
Very
I'm
excited.
starting to get excited about
Okay,
it.
okay.
So we're in the lab right now. Tracy Oliver, right? You guys know
Yes.
Kenya Barris. You
Yes.
guys
That's
know,
our
right?
brother,
That's
man.
all. That's family. I got a chance to catch him on the show when y'all had him on.
Yeah.
They're actually in the lab right now working on the script, and it's starting to take some real shape.
Okay.
So I'm getting excited about it. I've talked to all the ladies. You know, they in,
That's
they ready.
dope.
They
Everybody
ready.
in. Good, good. Everybody
I'm
in.
I'm not
Cool.
doing it without everybody.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You got to stand up
Everybody
for
in.
that.
Literally is the
100%.
last time I went to the movies and busted out laughing.
Yeah, and saw
Really?
a movie
Oh
multiple
my God.
times
And multiple
in the
times.
theater.
Word.
Just falling out laughing with my girls.
See, I can't let y'all down. That's why it's taking a while because I got to make sure it's not just all on me. Filmmaking is a collaborative process, but the team, we want to make sure that feeling y'all just described, we got to get that to you again.
Well, honesty and the truth is the best comedy. Just like you said,
That's
just
real.
keep it honest.
That's real.
Will, I'm seeing something right. I can see. Oh my God!
Uh-oh.
Do you
What
see this?
What you see? What you
Heather
see?
and Tracy
Look at
and
this.
Girls
Look at
Trip. Girls
this.
Trip. I
Look at
see
this.
this.
I'd go see that.
I can see that.
I go see that all
I know
day.
y'all got some little small parts. You know, stuff you can throw
A
them.
line for Tracy G had to be.
I'll bankroll their flights.
Y'all hear production deal going on.
I was gonna say.
I got 'em. You can bet me. I'm good.
I was gonna say where that money came from, Sway, that you put on the
But you know what? On the subject of casting, well, when Sway mentioned Drewski and how he definitely proved his comedy, his talent, his work ethic to be translatable outside of the small screen into the big screen, you said how for some other folks, you know, sometimes that's not the case.
Yeah.
That made me interested because artists of all forms tend to be sensitive and you know, nobody wants to derail someone from their path and stop them from continuing further. What is your rejection style? How do you tell people no? How do you determine how much to tell them why it's a no?
Right. I'm very honest. And I think that people within the industry would say that is what they like about me. Mm-hmm. I'm not like you got some people in this game that are mean just to be mean. They mean because people's mean to them coming up. So I got my chance. Now I got the power and I'm going to be that person. I'm not that.
Yeah.
But I'm also not the person that's going to tell you, you know, we may make that movie or we may hire you in it if I know I'm not.
Okay.
Because it's always better to get a quick no than drag it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A quick no is always better than a slow no.
Okay.
So I will say, listen, it's not this time. This isn't the one you came in. Maybe you want, if I'm talking to an actor, maybe you want to work on this, that, or the other. But this isn't the one for you. And I always tell actors, and I believe this, that what's for you is for you. right? And I also tell people, and not a lot of producers do this, that this is just me making an opinion and a decision on my project. But I am not in control of you, your success, and I could be absolutely wrong. But I'm making a decision based on what I know for this particular project that I control.
Word.
But you ultimately have the power to decide your own success. Don't give that power to Will Packer or the president of Disney or Sony or anybody. I don't care what their title is. Your power is your power. So me saying, and Hollywood is tough because we're judging you, especially actors. Actors, like with a producer, people can say, I didn't like that movie, Will.
Yeah.
What you got next? You know? But with a actor or a writer, we're saying we don't like you. We don't like what you did. Tracy G, your audition for this was not good. You, right? And it's tough.
You feel attacked.
She won't be in Girls Trip. He's just
gotta
telling
be
you now.
really strong.
He was just kidding. He was just kidding.
So so it's a good question though. But yeah, and here's the thing, because I love all my social media folks. A lot of people are out there and see that as a path to success.
Yeah.
What I would say is it's a path to visibility. That's what it is. So if you really good, you know how to put your videos together and put them out there online, love it. Do it. It's a path to visibility. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a path to, the Oscars.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, define your own success. What's your success? What are you trying to do? You can make a lot of money, do brand deals, do all of that. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have the skill set that a producer may be looking for, because that's a different medium.
Yes.
See, when when I delivered that line,
I
I never seen stepping like this before. That he
Yo!
knew right there, yo.
The fact that you remember your line all these years
I
later,
don't even
Sway.
know how many people come up here
I
asking to
feel
do
like
it again.
I feel responsible, guys. I
But
feel,
it's monster.
and I don't know if I should apologize to each of you ladies.
Yes.
I feel like something was created.
Welcome to Truth University.
Do it now.
Still saying that line. It's been
Drops
like
his chin and
it's been
everything.
70 years.
Yo, don't. Hey, listen, man. Don't minimize me right now.
Reduce,
Don't
reduce.
reduce
right,
me,
my
man.
brother.
Don't
You're
reduce
right.
me,
Hey,
man. Let
hey.
me tell you something. Chance the Rapper invited me to Ghana to the concert
his
that
festival,
he threw.
yeah.
Black
Red
Star.
Line-
Black
Red-
Star,
Yeah,
yeah.
Black Star Online Festival. I said, what made you want me to come?
Uh-oh.
He said, bro, I just wanted you to interview me in Ghana and say that line. I kid you not.
Are
This
you
was
serious?
in January. I said, what line? He said, I've never seen Stephen like that.
That is
Jeez, my gosh,
amazing.
man. Thank you, Will Packer. I will listen.
Come on, brother.
I'm your campaign
Come on.
manager, brother. I've done a lot of things in my life, but this moment, come on, man.
My guy, Sway.
Since we
I
have
love
you
that.
though, because
Yo.
we heard this story from Sway's lens, and he said that it was years later, just having a conversation with you, and you mentioned it. But what did you see in Sway, and like, what was it? What interview was it where you were like, nah, he needs to be on something bigger?
Yo, Sway was, first of all, I mean, back in that time, that's
Yeah.
MTV Sway.
Yeah.
And like that was, he was the like an arbitrator of the culture.
Facts,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? If it came out of Sway's mouth, it would, because Sway's brand never has been. Sway's brand wasn't like the gossipy, let me talk trash.
true.
Like it was
Yeah.
no. This is factual. You know what I'm
Authority.
saying? Yes, black CNN. Like this is like Sway said it was real. I needed that credibility. So as much as like, I have done a little bit for you.
Yeah.
You did it for me because now it helped. Remember, this was my first big movie, right?
That's
I
true,
hadn't
that's
had
true.
any number ones, anything. I needed credibility.
Yeah.
Sway helped me. This is a partnership, y'all.
Y'all, you better, hey,
I'm
listen.
just saying.
Come on.
Like, because
Wow,
you
that's
gave me the legitimacy that I needed for that scene in the movie. And people was like, yo, this is real. Because Sway said it on here, yo. This step show is legitimate.
It's a real step show.
I'm just saying.
Come on. My
Come on,
brother's
brother.
a Sigma.
Oh,
My
that
brother
makes all
Phi
the
Beta
sense.
Sigma.
There you go. See,
Come
so
on,
you know that
sister.
world.
I knew the world.
There we go.
I was almost there, but the hip hop took me somewhere else.
Okay,
all
understood,
right.
understood.
And that's how my partner Will and I.
Yeah.
That's how we first met, y'all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
My
Beautiful
partner Sway.
origin story.
There we go.
Let me take
Solid
one
origin
caller.
story.
One caller. Eric, you've been waiting for a while. You got a question for Will Packer?
Yo.
E, you there?
Hello?
Yeah. You got a question?
Yes. How do you, if you have a lot of content, how do you get with a content provider like a Hulu or,
Yep.
Amazon?
Yep. Yeah, it's a good question, E. Absolutely, because I know there's a lot of folks out there that's like, yo, I'm making my own stuff, and it's great because you can make your stuff now without the barriers that we had when I was coming up. When I was coming up, you had to actually go out and figure out how to buy film, right? And then that was expensive, and you had to buy the cameras, you had to have the editing equipment. Now, literally, you can do all that on your phone, right? So, Eric, if you've already shot some stuff, that's great. You're already ahead of the game. I'll never forget the advice that Warrington Hudlin gave me when I was interning, straight out of FAMU, interning on a movie, the first kind of real movie set I was on. I was telling him I had done a little movie at FAMU called Chocolate City, and then I had my actual film, and I gave it to him, and he said, brother, I don't know if this film is any good or not. It's probably not. He was very honest. He said, however, the fact that you have a movie separates you from 90% of the people in this business. People in this business are talking about what they're about to do, what they're going to do, what's going to happen. You've actually done something that puts you ahead of the game. So that's my thing I'm going to give back to you, E. You actually have something. Now we need to give it some visibility. When you talk about the people like the Hulus, the Netflixes, the Universals who have major platforms, everybody's coming at them. So you got to know that first and foremost. The way to stand out, especially in Hollywood, is to do it on your own. Okay. Hollywood did not come to me for anything until I was making money without Hollywood. Right. That's the reality. My first independent movie after school, after FAMU, was Twa. And with Twa, I literally had to drive around this country. I had rented a Ford Excursion. You know how much gas? They don't even make the Excursion no more. My carbon footprint was off. I could barely fill the thing up.
You know what?
I drove city to city to city and begged local radio DJs to get me on the air. I went to the clubs and handed out flyers. I went to the church parking lots. I was handing out flyers on Twa, mind you.
Oh, my God.
I had to get it how I could get it, brother. But I was hustling. There wasn't we didn't have social media back then.
Right.
So we were then able to have some success that made Hollywood go, yo, what they doing over there? You know what I'm saying? Because we did go market to market and made a little money. So what I would say to you, E, and to anybody else listening who this would apply to, is now you do have platforms, right? Like when you put your content on YouTube, do people care? Do you get 100 followers? You get 1 million? You get 100 million? If you're able to go out and put stuff out there on your own, that shows you can connect with an audience. That's what Hollywood's going to pay attention to. Because then they're going to be like, yo, if he did that on his own, what could he do with us? Yeah. Let's take it to the next level.
Look at Issa Rae.
Look at Issa. Look at Quinta Brunson. Like, look at folks that have done this for sure.
Absolutely. Hey, Eric, you just got a semester right there in that answer, okay?
Keep grinding, E.
Let me drop a little jewel right back at you.
Yes, sir.
I'm from Oakland.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know that.
Black Watch Television.
What, say that again?
I say Black Watch Television. We've been documenting since the early 90s.
Okay.
Black Watch TV.
And we got Tupac and Biggie sitting at the table rapping together. Only shot.
Oh, wow.
Familiar, man.
Film.
Oh, wow, that's huge.
Yo, that's big. Hey, Eric, follow me, man. Shoot me a DM, brother. All right? You're a citizen, man.
Of Sway in the Morning.
Already ahead of you. Check it out. Take a look at me and get back with me.
That's
Eric
the
said
bang
he
right
on
there.
it.
Yee!
Eric
I love it, E. All right, E.
Real.
707.
He is ready.
Hey, man, Will Packer, it's
Yes,
always a pleasure to have you on the show. It's always a gem.
Man,
you leave us better than we were before you walked in.
But it's the same. It's mutual. I promise you it is.
Thank
right?
you, sir.
That's what it happens. Iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
And when we feed each other, we're better as a community. We're better as a village. We're better as a people. So I'm fed today, y'all. I really, really am.
Yes.
I so appreciate y'all taking time to let me come up here. And I'm sending that energy right back to everybody that's out there listening. Whatever you're going through, whatever's happening, I feel you. Tune in on Thursdays, get you that good news. You know what I'm saying? If you got some time and you choose to, check out Praise This. It is a fun, uplifting movie. It's a little bit different than what you might think. And I'm proud of it.
There you go. That's Will Packer right there. Okay, give it up for Will Packer. Sway the Morning Shade 4-5. Coming right back.